Barcelona has started to make determined moves in the transfer market, and one of the names resonating most strongly in the camp offices is that of Nick Woltemade. The young German striker, who has taken the Bundesliga by storm with his talent, physical presence, and goal-scoring flair, has been identified by the Catalan club's sports management, in full alignment with the directives of the new coach ANS Flick, as a priority target to strengthen the offensive front this summer. And this is not a decision taken lightly. The interest in the 23-year-old striker goes beyond mere observation. It is a strategic bet that aligns perfectly with the new Blaugrana roadmap. Barcelona, immersed in a renewal phase that requires intelligence, vision, and courage, understands that recruiting young talents with immediate potential and room for growth is key to rebuilding a competitive, sustainable, and ambitious project. Nick Woltemade represents exactly that. After a spectacular season with Stuttgart, where he scored 17 goals and provided 3 assists in 33 matches, his name has appeared on the agendas of several major European clubs. But while some clubs are cautiously exploring the terrain, Barcelona is working with determination. Barcelona has already initiated contacts with the player's entourage and is seriously considering making a firm offer to secure his services as soon as possible. ANS Flick, who knows German football like few others and has closely followed the attacker's development, gave his approval without hesitation during technical meetings with the sports management. The coach highlighted Woltemade's multiple virtues: his tactical intelligence, his ability to adapt to different offensive schemes, his imposing physicality, standing nearly 2 meters tall, his mobility between the lines, his good reading of the game, and, of course, his effectiveness in front of the opponent's goal. For Flick, Nick is not just a goal scorer but a complete striker who can become a key piece of Barcelona's new offensive machinery. Additionally, his versatility allows him to occupy different positions in attack. Although he is comfortable as a center forward, he can also play as a second striker or start from the wing, generating imbalances and combining with freedom. His play with his back to goal, his ability to create spaces for his teammates, and his defensive effort are additional assets that have not gone unnoticed by the new Blaugrana coach. The player's contractual situation, which ties him to Stuttgart until 2028, does not represent an insurmountable obstacle. The German club, aware of the growing interest in their star, would be willing to negotiate for an amount close to 45 to 50 million euros, a sum that, while significant, is considered acceptable at Camp Nou given the potential and projection of a footballer who could define an era. The Blaugrana sports management is working on various formulas to structure the operation without compromising the club's economic stability. Options such as deferred payments, performance incentives, and even variable clauses linked to titles and participation are being studied. The goal is clear: to secure the transfer of Nick Woltemade without mortgaging the club's future, as this Barcelona is learning to compete from the offices as well, and the operation is being managed with the prudence and professionalism required by the new times. In the player's entourage, Barcelona's interest has been received with enthusiasm. Woltemade knows he is facing a unique opportunity in his career. The sports project offered by the Catalan club is ambitious, serious, and perfectly suited to his characteristics. In Barcelona, he is seen not as a supplementary player but as a key figure in the new attack being prepared, and for a young player hungry for glory and mature enough to take on top-level challenges, Barcelona presents itself as the ideal destination. Furthermore, the playing style of the Catalan team, based on possession, combination play, mobility, and collective intelligence, aligns perfectly with the qualities of the German striker. At Camp Nou, it's not just about scoring goals but understanding the game, actively participating in the build-up of plays, knowing when to accelerate and when to slow down. Woltemade has shown in Germany that he possesses this understanding of the game, this technical sensitivity that allows him to shine even when he is not finishing plays. For ANS Flick, having a striker with these characteristics would be a luxury. The German coach is looking for a versatile attack, with players capable of interpreting different registers depending on the opponent, the moment of the match, or the defined strategy, and Nico offers precisely this tactical flexibility so appreciated by modern coaches. His arrival would allow Barcelona to expand its offensive repertoire, add new variants to the game, and gain depth in an area of the field that needs immediate reinforcements. In recent weeks, and despite the media buzz generated by the interest of other clubs like Arsenal or West Ham, Barcelona has intensified its approach to the footballer's entourage. The feelings are positive. There is a willingness from both the player and his entourage to listen to the Blaugrana proposal, which focuses not only on the sports aspect but also on the human aspect. As in Barcelona, football families are built, not just squads. Here, the player is taken care of, respected, and given space to grow, and it is no minor detail that Voltmade himself has privately expressed his admiration for the history, philosophy, and style of the Catalan club. Being part of an institution with such a marked identity, which firmly bets on young talent and quality play, would be a natural step in his evolution as a footballer, a step that could also propel him to the next international level. The arrival of Flick has energized the Blaugrana market. The coach has a clear idea of the pieces he needs, and the club is responding with agility and commitment. At Barcelona, players are no longer recruited for the sake of it, but players who fit into an idea, a model, a vision of the game, and Nick Voltmade is exactly that, a profile perfectly aligned with Barcelona's DNA, hungry for titles, with a winning mentality and technical quality that excites. So, Barcelona supporters, we now pose a question that goes beyond the sport, as it concerns our identity, our emotions, our future. Does the idea of seeing Nick Voltmade defend our crest, lead the attack of the new Barcelona, and celebrate goals in a Camp Nou filled with hope excite you? Do you think he is the striker we need to make the competitive leap we all desire? Do you feel, as many already do, that his transfer could mark a before and after in the new era that is beginning? The ball is already rolling in the offices, Barcelona is moving, dreaming, and working, and Nick Voltmade could be one of those bets that, with time, become legend. The future is being built today. The second piece of news concerns an important decision about our beloved club. Barcelona is on the verge of finalizing a deal that could mark a turning point in its sports and economic planning for the new project to be led by Hans Flick from the bench. The sale of Ansu Fati to Aston Villa for €35 million is practically done. According to sources close to the sports management, the agreement between the clubs is complete, and only minor details in the contract and the player's final willingness remain to make it official. This is a decision that, while it may generate mixed emotions as it involves a footballer trained at LAMINE, is in all respects a necessary and strategic measure for the club to regain maneuvering room, reduce its wage bill, and face the future with more coherence and projection. Ansu Fati was the great hope of Barcelona during the institutional and sports chaos that reigned in the final phase of Josep Maria Bartomeu's tenure. At just 16 years old, he amazed all of Europe with his audacity, speed, and talent. On his debut, he scored in his first start, scored again, and within weeks, he was already a starter at Camp Nou, breaking precocity records and generating enthusiasm among supporters who were living in times of uncertainty. Barcelona saw him as the heir to Lionel Messi. So much so that, after the painful departure of the Argentine star in 2021, the symbolic and risky decision to give him the number 10 jersey was made. This gesture placed immense pressure on a young man who, beyond his talent, was still taking his first steps in the elite. Unfortunately, the story did not follow the dreamed path. Injuries became a constant nightmare. Knee problems, relapses, long recoveries, limited minutes, and a loss of confidence that was evident. Although the club and the technical staff tried to protect him and give him opportunities, Ansu never regained the dazzling level he had shown in his first months. His body no longer responded as before, his speed was not the same, and his explosiveness seemed to have vanished. Meanwhile, Barcelona was going through one of its worst economic crises, and drastic decisions became part of everyday life. It was then decided to loan him to Brighton in the Premier League for the 2023-2024 season, hoping that, away from the media spotlight of Camp Nou and in a less demanding context, he could regain his form and relaunch his career. However, the reality was different. His performance in England was discreet, without continuity or real impact. He scored a few goals, showed a few flashes, but did not convince either the English managers or the Barcelona entourage that he was ready to return with a significant role. This loan served more as confirmation than redemption. The Ansu Fati who amazed in 2019 no longer exists, and it is not for lack of talent, but because physical and emotional circumstances have weighed him down to the point of turning him into an ordinary player. With the arrival of Hans Flick on Barcelona's bench, a new era has begun, marked by demand, tactical solidity, and physical commitment. The German coach, known for his discipline and ability to build competitive teams, was clear from day one. Ansu Fati is not part of his plans. He prefers fast wingers, intense in pressing, capable of sacrifice, and in impeccable physical condition to sustain the pace of a team that aspires to dominate Europe again. In this new context, Ansu's continuity would be counterproductive, as it would not only block the development of other young promises from LAMINE who are pushing hard and deserve their chance, but also because the sale would free up a high salary and make room in the squad for the next season. All this restructuring responds to a clear strategy: to make the arrival of new signings economically viable. From a purely footballing perspective, the impact of Haaland would be immediate and monumental. At just 24 years old, he has already proven to be a complete striker. His physical power, anticipation, lethal finishing with both feet, and aerial ability make him a formidable attacker against any defense. Moreover, he is an ambitious footballer, obsessed with scoring and winning, and this kind of mentality is exactly what Barcelona needs to regain its place among the elite. Think about it, Barcelona fans. How many goals would Haaland guarantee? How much would the young talents around him grow? Players like LAMINE, YAMAL, PEDRI, GAVI, Fermin Lopez, or Vitor Roque would find in the Norwegian a leader to follow. And not only that, the team would stop depending on isolated sparks or the occasional inspiration of this or that winger. With Haaland as a reference, Barcelona would have a clear structure, with a number 9 who pins down defenses, opens up spaces, and decides matches. At the institutional level, the move would also be colossal. The arrival of Haaland would mean an immediate increase in jersey sales, new commercial agreements, greater international visibility, and, above all, the return of faith in the club's sports project. After years of instability, failed bets, and unfulfilled promises, recruiting Haaland would be a declaration of principles. We are here, we are Barcelona, and we aim for everything. It should be remembered that the club has already demonstrated its ability to react and its ambition in other stages. No one believed it was possible to recruit Ronaldinho in 2003, no one imagined that Neymar would leave Santos to come to Camp Nou, and very few saw it as viable to bring Suarez, Messi, and Neymar together in the same attack. And yet, it happened, because Barcelona is not just any club. It is an institution that, when it sets its mind to it, changes the landscape of world football. And Haaland is this new ace that can make all rivals tremble. For all these reasons, from this Barcelona perspective, we can only applaud and support the courage of Joan Laporta. At a time when many would settle for empty promises, he once again places the club at the center of the football universe. If he manages to conclude this transfer, his legacy will be sealed in gold. Now, we want to hear from you, the Barcelona fans. What do you think of this move? Does the arrival of Haaland excite you? Do you see it positively to part ways with players like Ferran or Ansu to make room for the Norwegian? Do you trust Laporta and Flick's vision? Do you think this is the step Barcelona needs to reconquer Europe? The discussion is open, but the enthusiasm is undeniable, because if Haaland sets foot in camp, the roar will be deafening. Because with Haaland, hope turns into certainty. Because our Barcelona is ready to become the best club in the world again. Visca el Barça and Visca Erling Haaland. Leave us your opinion in the comments.